The Green Bay Packers suffered a tough loss on Monday Night Football in what was a defensive battle between themselves and the Philadelphia Eagles. Now they get to travel to New York to take on the Giants, who just fired their head coach. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan. We're going to break down this matchup and provide our predictions at the end. So be sure to stay tuned. Leave a comment. Let us know who you think is going to win and why. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button to get notified when new videos come out. Trying to get to 100 new subscribers this week, and let's see if we can do it in this video alone. And Ryan, let's get into it here. We're going to
Let's
get
do
to the
it.
Giants in a second, but we're recording this right after the Monday Night Football game, which I will say one of the more exciting 10-7 games that I've seen in a long time. It was actually very impressive, just like the chess match overall, because I still hold this Packers offense in high regard. I know it was not their offensive night. They've been struggling a little bit. Get to that here in a second overall. But in general, though, I thought their defense played extremely well against I think Philadelphia Eagles offense, who's also been struggling a little bit, similar to Green Bay, but I still hold them in high regard as well. So still, I think to me, a very impressive performance on Monday Night Football against the Super Bowl champs defensively. So you do have that going for them. I do think one of the things here, as we just go and look at it, it was just a tough game overall. Like we could break down everything here too, but defense did a good job keeping the offense in it. The offense really struggled, I think, to move the ball. But once again, this Eagles defense, when playing well, is one of the top defenses in the league. I really think they're missing Tucker Kraft. I think it just did not have that same effect over the middle of the field as what we are typically able to see for them. Luke Musgrave, to his credit, did have 3 catches tonight, 23 yards, but still, though, not the same. And it might take a game or two for them as well to fully kind of get him used to it, and best way to utilize him. But typical, though, I would say from Green Bay Packers, one of the things I like about it, Watson had 2 catches, Dontayvion Wicks had 4 catches, Jacobs had 5 catches, Bo Melton, Romeo Dobbs. We'll love to see a little more from Romeo Dobbs, but he drew a tough assignment tonight, and he ended up getting hurt as well too. And a little banged up, so had to make sure he's good to go here. But still, just a tough game though. But you fought hard against Super Bowl champs, and I think it's something as you guys continue to keep on improving, will pay dividends in the long run. And luckily, the Giants, they're going to be without Jackson Dart, most likely, who's in their concussion protocol, which is a loss. But the Giants did fire their head coach, which is probably a gain into the Giants' perspective. So we'll have to kind of wait and see how that works. But Ryan, I want to throw it over to you. What do you think of the Packers' performance tonight, and what do you think they need to fix going into this matchup on the road against the Giants?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think you're right with the Tucker Craft stuff. I definitely he was kind of the oil that let that engine run smoothly, and I it's a it's a tough loss, and I don't know if they won't ever replace him in that offense. But I do think that they'll find other ways that they can be as productive as they were. They have a great litany of weapons, and I think that that's just going to be something that they can eventually overcome. When it comes to this matchup here, I do think a heavy dose of Josh Jacobs will be in store for this team. I think running outside against those edge rushers who are a little bit, I don't say undersized, but you go look at Brian Burns, and then Abdul Carter kind of plays that hybrid linebacker edge rusher role for them right now. I would not be running towards Kayvon Thibodeau because he is one of the better edge run defenders. And so I do like that matchup for them. It is unfortunate Elgton Jenkins left the game as well, so we'll have to
Mm-hmm.
monitor his status. But probably I saw him getting carted to the locker room from the bench, so probably not a good sign there.
Well, they carted Lane Johnson back to the locker room, and he came back in. So
That's fair.
it's all relative. I honestly think too. It's just those are like 350-pound guys. It's just quicker to get them back to the locker room and just
Yeah, then
put them
like
on the
waiting for him to
cart.
walk. I guess that's fair.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I do think too defensively, it was good stuff from the Packers. I think a few plays go differently in that game, and the Packers might win that one 14-10.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
and so I think that that's just something to keep in mind, that you are playing the reigning Super Bowl champs, and that's one of the best teams in the league, and you held that explosive offense to 10 points. And so I think there's a lot of positives to take away from that performance. But yeah, all in all, I think the Packers match up well with the Giants, and the Giants are an interesting team as a whole, because for a while I say a while, 2-3 weeks, they were like one of the hottest teams in the NFL. You go look at the first 58 minutes that they played against the Denver Broncos, and that was a really solid game until they let that one slip. They went down and you like got a couple wins there with Jackson Dart, even one over the Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday Night Football. And so it's unfortunate that Cam Scattaboo got hurt, and then you look at now Jackson Dart is in concussion protocol, so we'll have to like he could potentially clear in time for Sunday's game, but it's unlikely, and so monitor his status. But this team has just gotten banged up with injuries, so I think that's just unfortunate here for a team uh, that looked to be building some positive momentum there at the middle portion of the season.
Yeah, no, it's I think that's the thing when I look at this Giants team, and one obviously, I mean, you fire your head coach, and so now the whole thing's going to be this off season, and it was already starting to kind of gear towards that way. Jackson Dart gave them a little bit of life, but just in some optimism. But then I think it was time just to pull the plug. A little surprised that they're keeping the GM Joe Shane, and he's going to even be searching for the new head coach, which and just interesting process overall. But I think saying all of that though, it's you go and find a new head coach, and then if things still don't work out, depending on how you draft, then okay, well now we found another problem that we got to get rid of. So it takes time. I do think they'll go find a good head coach overall. There's a lot of good options I think that they can choose from, but I think that's going to be one of the interesting portions here for Green Bay. Modern Elkin Jenkins, as you touched on, is the Giants have one of the better defensive fronts in the league, to be completely honest. And so that could cause them some trouble. In general, though, if they're going to be without Jackson Dart, the offense led by Russell Wilson is just totally different and totally ineffective as well. And they're already all banged up just in general. The way this Green Bay Packers defense, this is a Super Bowl caliber defense from what I saw tonight. If this Packers offense can figure it out, I think this team could go far. And to be completely transparent, when they a couple years ago, we didn't really start to see them turn into that team that could really go for a deep run until they dominated the Lions on Thanksgiving a couple years ago. And
Mhm.
then they ran the table and nearly should have beat the 49ers in the NFC divisional round when they had their opportunities to. So there's still a couple weeks, I think, for them to figure it out. Matt LaFleur to get that system going in general. And I still really like their trajectory overall. They're now not winning the NFC North. They're now a half game back from both the Lions and also to the Chicago Bears, who are 6-3. So a lot of big games coming up for the Packers in the division one. So this one's a huge one. You need to win this one here. And then
Mhm.
quick little thing just with the Giants as well too. I I, I do think Jackson Dart is played well enough now for whichever head, and also to the GM staying there too. So I think that's going to be the guy. Like, no, this
Yeah.
is our quarterback. So I think now then the goal switches. Then how can we go and help out this offense even more? Because defensively, I have liked what they have done, but I do think that it's going to be something. They're going to be like, how can we get him more weapons? How can we get him more protection? The offensive line's actually been playing better compared to typical Giant standards. I just think it was coaching. I think it was just time for a change, and it's going to be fun to dissect here going into the offseason. But still, though, I think the Packers coming off this loss here, I think it was a lot of positives you could take from this game here, especially how the defense kept them in the game. I don't think they should have an issue against the Giants, especially if Russell Wilson's one leading the offense. And there's going to be a lot of other ways I think this Packers team can score. And so
Mhm.
I think they're going to have a tough time still trying to figure some things out, but I think it's going to be about 21-10 Green Bay in this game.
Yeah. I I agree. I think it'll actually be a relatively low scoring affair, just because I think this Giants defensive front is, like you said, pretty solid. Um, but yeah, I'm also going to go with the Packers. I just think that the Packers are going to be a much better team. I think they're going to be motivated to win. That was a tough loss to swallow here on Monday Night Football to a really good Philadelphia Eagles team. But yeah, I just think the Packers are going to edge out the Giants. It'll be a good game.
Yeah,
So
it's going to be a good one.
let's go ahead. Let's wrap this video up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead in this matchup. Will it be the Green Bay Packers? Will it be the New York Giants? Other than that, we'll see you guys next time.